by refusing to comply with a formal right to information request.
These payments are not even inclusive of the training amount that was paid. It is the responsibility of the MPRA to disclose to the Ghanaian people how much they even paid.
And much later in this bulletin, Finance Minister Dr. Kasila Tuforson leads in NDC's presidential race. That's according to Global Info Analytic polls. We have details of our headlines and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now we're going to a first story where joint business forum, including freight forwarders, are expected to engage government today in a crucial meeting over the ongoing impasse surrounding the operations of the Publican AI at Ghana Sport. Last week, the group called off its industrial action following a significant concession secured from the Finance Ministry during a high-level discussion. Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association, John Awuni, and said on Hot Edition that the coalition tabled 4 demands, including the suspension of the Publican AI system.
They agreed to the fact that they will agree to reverting to the status quo, and for that matter, they will ensure that the appeal process is done within 24 hours. They also agreed that they will, from Monday, we will come into a meeting and then they will open the Publican AI for us to audit and then address our concerns. And then with respect to the disclosure of the details of the entities and contractual arrangement underpinning the Publican AI system, the ministry maintained its position that while it will grant leadership of our association's assets, they are unable to give a full disclosure of the AI system.
That was the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni, speaking on Hot Edition. Now, we understand that a joint business forum, including freight forwarders, are expected to engage government today in a crucial meeting over the operations of the Publican AI at Ghana Sport. And we'll be following that and bring updates on that in a subsequent bulletin. But moving on, an extended closure of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran is expected to upend global energy markets, with the closure sending shockwaves across global energy markets. The Ghana government has announced the government is set to lose an estimated 200 million Ghana cedis in revenue due to a transparent and temporary fuel price intervention aimed at easing the cost of living for Ghanaians. The decision, effective from April 16, 2026, involves absorbing 2 cedis per litre on diesel and 0.36 pesos on fuel. Now, here's the spokesperson of the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Richmond Roxon, speaking on TFM.
What the government has done is that it has taken a hit when it comes to the margins, and it's been innovative enough to reduce and in some cases abolish some of these in order to take a hit. And so monies that would have been due government of Ghana through the taxes, levies and margins are what the government has put away in order to give the consumers some breathing space. Look at the price build-up and then what was supposed to be due government, the revenue implications, as I'll put it. The government is losing around 200 million Ghana cedis on this program.
And that was a spokesperson at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Richmond Roxon there. Now, a high-level meeting convened by the Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu, on Friday to resolve a worsening food crisis in senior high school failed to produce an agreement, thereby raising fears of disruptions for more than 1 million students. The Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools threatened to stake schools that could enforce or be forced to close down if immediate funding is not released to procure the essential food supply under the Free Senior High School program. The meeting brought together key institutions, including the Ghana Education Service, the National Food Buffer Stock, and the Ghana Education Trust Fund, but disagreement persisted over procurement and financial arrangements. Now to some other stories, as the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called for sweeping global reforms to strengthen democracy and promote fairness at the fourth high-level meeting of the In Defense of Democratic Summit held in Barcelona. Professor Opoku-Jane joined world leaders and international partners to address rising global threats such as extremism, political polarization, and disinformation. There's more in the full report.
The summit, which began as an initiative during the United Nations General Assembly in 2024, aims to coordinate international efforts to safeguard democratic systems. The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, said protecting democracy goes beyond elections and highlighted the need to strengthen institutions, improve governance, and ensure accountability. She also emphasized the importance of tackling structural inequalities and reform international legal frameworks to better protect women and vulnerable groups. On trade, the Vice President pointed to Africa's progress through the African Continental Free Trade Area, describing it as a major milestone.
What I want to see, very simple. Spain has been in Ghana for as long as Ghana has been in Spain. Where is our equivalent of GB foods from Ghana in Spain?
She, however, said regional progress must be complemented by meaningful global reforms and called for international financial systems that are more inclusive, accessible, and responsive to the needs of developing countries.
And that was a report by the Vice President's correspondent, Evelyn Tengma. Now, the Member of Parliament for Otafo, Vincent Eko Asifua, has accused the National Pensions Regulatory Authority of deliberately orchestrating transparency by refusing to comply with a formal right to information request. The Otafo Member of Parliament was responding to the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, describing the authority's statement as evasive while demanding the removal of the Chief Executive over alleged financial mismanagement and breaches.
The Deputy Attorney General went for that program or that trip, which was supposed to be for training. He took 2 weeks per diem, went for the program 2 or 3 days, and came back to Ghana. They failed to respond to that. The Deputy Bank of Ghana governor also went to the same program, went 2 or 3 days, and came back to Ghana and took per diem amounting to 1,500 Ghana cedis by 14. If you multiply that figure by 11, that will give you huge sums of money. And that is why I'm asking. These payments are not even inclusive of the training amount that was paid. It is the responsibility of the MPRA to disclose to the Ghanaian people how much they even paid.
That was the Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Eko Asifua. Finally, before we go, the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasila Tefosina, staged a dramatic rise to the top of the NDC's presidential race, emerged as a leading contender among general voters. That's according to new data from Global Info Analytics. The latest all-voters model shows Dr. Forson climbing from 3rd place at 11% in 2025 April to a commanding 25% in April 2026, a surge that places him firmly ahead of the field. His ascent contrasts sharply with former Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, who previously led the race by 24% support but has seen a steep decline to 11% following a period of illness that appears to have significantly impacted her standing. Now, Asiedin Ketia has also gained ground, rising from 9% to 20%, moving into the 2nd place. Meanwhile, the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu, who held the 2nd position a year ago with 17%, has largely stagnated, inching up marginally to 18%, now sitting in the 3rd position. That brings us to the end of the morning news here on PFM 92.7. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haligah. Business is right up.
Follow us on social media, Twitter at 3FM927, Facebook at 3FM927, and also on 3news.com.
Now time for business news here on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. Coming up this morning, Africa's Sustainable Energy Center warns Ghana could lose up to $2 billion annually if persistent power outages continues unchecked, as it calls for urgent reforms across the energy sector. Also, Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku announces plan to more than double local tomato production to cut the reliance on Burkina Faso imports.
We are saying that if we are able to develop that variety and create that atmosphere, in addition to the variety, that will give us 15 to 20 tons per hectare.
And also, government faces fifth straight undersubscription in April 17, the Treasury bill auction. We have details of our headlines and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Go on to a first story where the Africa Sustainable Energy Center is warning that Ghana risks losing up to $2 billion every year if the current wave of persistent power outages is not urgently addressed. The center says the disruptions are already affecting households, businesses, healthcare, education, and industrial productivity, while threatening investor confidence and long-term economic growth. There's more in the following few business reports.
The Africa Sustainable Energy Center says Ghana's ongoing power supply challenges are now posing a serious threat to national development and economic stability. ASEC Executive Director Justice Ohina Kuto, in a press release, says electricity remains central to growth, warning that prolonged outages could weaken productivity and reduce the country's competitiveness. The center notes that manufacturers, service providers, and small businesses are facing rising costs as they turn to generators and other backup sources to keep operations running. It adds that unreliable electricity supply is also affecting critical sectors such as healthcare and education, with wider implications for jobs and living standards. ASEC is therefore calling for urgent reforms, including investment in smarter grid systems, improved metering and revenue collection, stronger fuel security, and expansion of renewable energy sources. The center is urging government, regulators, private investors, and development partners to act quickly to restore confidence in the power sector and secure long-term energy stability.
Now, away from that, Gridco and Ghana Gas have completed emergency restoration works at the Atuabo gas processing plant today, following a planned overnight shutdown to replace a damaged burner management system. The successful completion of the exercise is expected to help stabilize gas supply to thermal plants and reduce risks to energy generation.
The 5-hour exercise, which began at midnight, was undertaken to finalize the replacement of the burner management system following a major fault that damaged the plant's controller earlier this month. Officials say preparatory works were nearly complete before the shutdown, paving the way for final installation and system restoration. The successful completion of the operation is expected to strengthen gas supply to power producers and support stable electricity generation across the country. Gridco and Ghana Gas say technical teams put in place all necessary operational measures to complete the works within schedule while minimizing disruption to consumers. The two institutions have reaffirmed their commitment to reliable power delivery and apologized for any inconvenience caused during the maintenance exercise.
Meanwhile, President John Dramani Mahama has expressed confidence in a more stable power supply as government intensifies effort to improve electricity delivery after the Energy Ministry completes its transformer upgrades. He gave the assurance while visiting the Northern Electricity Distribution Company as part of his resetting Ghana agenda, where he inspected transformers being deployed under a nationwide upgrade program. Take a listen.
For many years, ECG and NETCO have not done a mass replacement of transformers to upgrade the power of the transformers to be able to meet the growing demand in the communities. And so the minister made a request and cabinet approved this. The Minister of Finance came to the assistance of the Minister of Energy and applied a lot of transformers for installation nationwide, currently 2,500 transformers. And so we're going to see stable power after this first phase. And like you said, after that, constantly we'll keep taking out the old transformers so that Ghana can have stable power.
That was President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the Food and Agriculture Minister, Eric Opoku, says plans are underway to more than double local production of tomato variety widely imported from Burkina Faso in a bid to improve food security. Many traders prefer tomatoes from neighboring countries, citing their richer taste and low water content. Concerns about Ghana's reliance on imports grew earlier this year when Burkina Faso announced a temporary ban on export. Now, speaking to 3 Business, the minister said output could rise from about 8 tons per hectare as much as 20 tons per hectare. He says the move is expected to reduce dependence on imports and strengthen the country's tomato supply.
We are getting 8 tons per hectare, and they in Burkina Faso they are getting 18 tons per hectare. So when you check Burkina Faso, the total land area used for tomato cultivation is just around 17,000 hectares under irrigation. But because they are able to do 18 tons per hectare, their production is above 300,000 tons. They do 306,000 tons. We have 92,000 hectares of land under cultivation in the peak season, 92,000 hectares. But because we are doing 8 tons per hectare, our production is just around 510,000 tons. And we are saying that if we are able to develop that variety and create that atmosphere, in addition to the variety, that will give us 15 to 20 tons per hectare. We will be sufficient, self-sufficient, within the shortest possible time. That is why we engage with WACI, and that's why we are engaging with CSIR to see what can be done. And within the shortest possible time, we tell the Ghanaian people where we have gotten to in relation to that.
That was the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, there. That brings us to the part where we check how the city is doing against major trading currencies and how some key commodities are also faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 3 pesos. It gained 1 peso. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis, 85 pesos. It gained 3 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis, 93 pesos. It also gained 2 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. In the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $95.20 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,749.75 per ounce, down by $17.14. Cocoa is trading at $3,327 per ton, up by $87.
And that was an update from the Forex and commodities markets. That'll be all for business news here on 3FM 92.7. For more news, check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haligah. Sunrise continues.